No, for the record, I am not a music critic, and I'm just someone who listens to some music and I know a few tones. So, welcome to a video of mine that actually has effort put into it, because I know how to edit now. So, I am going to rank all of these songs on a tier list from the album A Fever You Can't Sweat Out by Panic at the Disco, but I promise you guys, I never listen to Panic at the Disco. This is just a funny video that everyone's gonna laugh at. It's a pure joke. It's a joke of a video. No one, it's not serious. But anyways, let's get an introduction. So basically, this is Panic's first studio album. Now, let me set the scene. Originally, the band went by Pet Salamander for whatever reason, and it was made up of the band. The band was made up of Ryan Ross and Spencer Smith and Brendan Urie. It was formed in 2004 in the good old suburbs of Las Vegas. I was so tempted to say LA. It was originally Ryan and Spencer, but then they invited Brent Wilson to go on the bass, or the bass rather, and then he invited Brendan Urie, which I'm sure was just a horrible mistake. Originally, Ryan was gonna be the main singer, but everyone just decided to agree that Brendan should be the main singer instead. They were going to be a cover band of Blink-182 to be specific, but then they were like, oh, we should be creative and we should be different, as I'm sure all pop-punk bands started off with. So they made some stuff and they posted it somewhere on the internet, and that stuff, to be specific, was 3 songs that would be on their debut album. Those being Time to Dance, Nails for Breakfast and Tax for Snacks, and Camisado, or however you pronounce that. They sent a link of it to Pete Wentz, who was / is, I don't know, Fall Out Boy's bass guitarist, and they also changed the band name to what it is now. Wentz was like, wow, this is so interesting, and they went to Las Vegas to meet them, and he liked them, so he was like, sign this, and you can become one with Fueled by Ramen. And of course, they did. And apparently the exclamation point was a joke, but it stuck, and the Wikipedia article says so, I mean, who am I to correct it? I mean, I'm just some lazy guy who doesn't really like researching things, and this video is already hard enough to produce. I'm not going to fact check things. And, sometime later they release a debut album, and there's a bunch of production stuff here, but I doubt it matters. Well, besides Wilson getting fired from the band because he wasn't progressing musically with the band or being responsible, and then Wilson sued the band because he said they were lying, basically. But that's enough background, basically. They made an album. I'm sure it was all true, and none of it was made up by some funny man on Wikipedia. Here's your obligatory disclaimer that this is mostly based on my opinion. Not entirely, but, for the most part, if you hate or love something that I don't, it really doesn't matter to me, and it probably shouldn't to you. So, first song, Introduction. It's the first song of the album, and it really does work well as a introduction. It sets the theme. It's an old-timey radio tuning in to a station where the rest of the album will play through, and there's lots of parts of other songs from the album, snippets, and then we are introduced to the show by the host, which is Brendan Urie, with a picturesque score of Passing Phantoms. And I think some of the reason I like it is just because it's sort of a game to find where all the parts come from in the album, because they're all in the songs. None of them are just exclusive, except of course like the Russian or whatever, they are talking to people, but that's obviously not going to be in here anyway, right? But a lot of the song, it does segue well into the next song as well, just from that, but it also just ends on a segue, sort of. But lots of songs also segue, so it's not super inventive or anything for doing that. But, you know, whatever. Alright, so, Intermission. It, as a song, not great. It's a fun experience, but that's really all it is. It's an experience. See, number 2. The only difference between suicide and martyrdom is press coverage. It starts off with an acoustic part, and I'm a sucker for that. And then it kicks into a much more rock-heavy part for most of the rest of it. But, it repeats the acoustic part once more. And I really enjoy the acoustic part. It's very catchy. But the rest of it just isn't that fantastic to me. I don't know. I can't really explain why I don't enjoy it that much. It just isn't really that great to me. It's good. That's all I can say about that. But, of course, the elephant in the room for anyone who's listened to the song and is a fan of the band. Yeah, Swear to Shake It Up if you swear to listen, which crazily lines up with how the band will treat making albums, because every album's different, and it's super true early on, but then once you get to Death of the Bachelor and, well, the one album so far that's come out afterwards, and it's a safe bet to assume they'll continue being a lot more poppy. Yeah, it becomes a lot more pop. And it's sad, but nothing you can do, I guess. But it is still different. The one album that has come out after Death of a Bachelor is still pretty different, but it is similar to Death of a Bachelor in some aspects, so yeah, that's a different topic for another day, but all in all, good song. Okay. Decent song. Definitely hovering between B or C for this. Yeah, I'll give it a B. I think it's good enough. I enjoy the acoustic parts so much that it really does work out for me. So, yep. London beckoned for songs about money written by machines. So this song, it instantly kicks into the rock. It's pretty much entirely rock, besides the weather segment, as I'll call it, just this once and never again. It's very obvious that the song is just made to make fun of or criticize the press or music producers or something. I don't really know. But they're targeting some figure. But, I mean, I don't really have too much to say about this. It's a really good song. I like it a lot. It's not too complex. So, this one, yeah, definitely a B tier. It's doesn't stand out as amazing, but it isn't terrible either. Nails for breakfast and tacks for snacks. I'm not a big fan of the start with the heavy auto-tune, or whatever it is. But literally everything after that I really enjoy. And I've been listening to the album over and over again to formulate my opinions as best I can about these songs, because I don't want to be wrong, basically, in my own thoughts, because I might be misremembering how I think about these songs. But like I said, everything after that first auto-tune heavy part is fantastic to me. The whole atmosphere is just perfect. They set the atmosphere well with this song. And there really isn't too much more I can say about it. It's kind of like the last song. It's fairly simple, but the one thing I will say is that it does set the atmosphere, at least in my opinion, for the next song. But before we get to that song, let's rate it first. So, news for breakfast. Yeah, I think it's an A tier in general. It's really great after that first bit. Kamisado, or however you pronounce it. This is the second of 3 songs. News for breakfast was the first. That was created before the album. And it is definitely the best. At least in my opinion. The keyboard intro and outro is almost definitely my favorite part, but the entirety is great. I know there's some super sad meaning behind it or something, but I don't really want to figure it out. It's probably just going to be too much effort. That'll just make the song a worse experience because it'll make me feel sad every time I listen to it. But, you know, it's well crafted. That's the best way I can describe it, I guess. So, Kamisado, definitely an S tier. I don't even have to consider it. Very high S. Time to Dance. This is the last of the 3 songs created before the album, and it is the worst, in my opinion. I'm just not a fan of the music. The lyrics are good, but it just doesn't sound great to me, personally. Not much for me to say it. I prefer... The music has to be good before I can enjoy the lyrics, basically. Because lyrics just won't carry a song for me. Dance is... It's a detail for me. I just don't like it that much. Lying is the most fun a girl can have without taking off her clothes. Least favorite song. Straight up. It's a slog for me to listen to. As a song, it just feels slower than the rest of the album, and it honestly might be. I just don't know what to tell you, man. It's not that great as a song, but to give credit where it's due, it does bring us back out of the album, and it takes us back to the radio, which segues directly into our next song, Intermission. But first, a rating. Yeah, this is a D tier. I mean, when I said it's the worst song, obviously I'm going to put it as a D tier. Intermission. The name says it all, honestly. It's mostly dance music until, due to circumstances beyond our control, we are unable to continue our broadcast of dance music. We shall continue now with our Piano Institute, which, if you've seen the music video for our next song on the album, you know it directly segues into it, which is, I always give kudos for that. But yeah, it really is what it says it is. It's a slight break in the midst of the album, and it's not my favorite as a song, but it's a nice experience. It adds to the atmosphere. Yeah, it's with the other one. It's perfectly great as an experience. That's all. But it's better if you do. This is one of the most consistently good songs, at least for me. The piano works well with the entire song, and like I said, Intermission segues nicely into this one. In my opinion, the piano gets crazier and crazier in Intermission until it just becomes the piano for this song. Nothing really feels out of place in this song, like how Time to Dance kind of does. Well, not Time to Dance, sorry. The second song. It's got too long of a name for me to read. But, yeah, the music video is great too. So, kudos for that. And also, the end fades out into the next song, perfectly. So, extra kudos for that. Yeah, definitely an A for me. It's really good, but it's not the cream of the crop. Good old I write sins, not tragedies. Now, this is the song that I tell everyone that it sucks. And when I think about it, I think it sucks. But when I listen to it, I thoroughly enjoy it. Now, of course, that's not going to stop me from saying that it sucks, because it was really funny when Carter was talking about the song because he wanted to listen to it because I brought it up to him, and then I kept telling him to stop listening because it sucks and it's terrible. Yeah, pretty funny, I know. Uh, but anyways, about the song. Starts great. The main riff is great. I don't know why I have a seething hatred for it. I'm gonna guess it's because I probably listened to it too much when I first got into the album, and that just makes me hate songs more often than not. It's kind of what happened to Ballad of Mona Lisa from Vices and Virtues. Maybe, I don't know. I'm guessing, honestly, on that. But it is a pretty good song. Alright, Sins is... I gotta give it an A. I mean, it's a classic, and I honestly like it a lot when I listen to it. I just hate it when I think about it. Oh, baby, my favorite one. I constantly thank God for Esteban. This is my jam. It's a banger from start to end. The only part I even kind of dislike is the Douse the Lights and the, ooh, we sure are in for a show tonight. But even then, I enjoy those parts. It's just not as much as the rest. It's acoustic almost entirely, at least somewhat, and it's really great. The drumsticks, the rhythmic drumsticks in the background throughout most of it, it's very subtle, but it really makes the song what it is, in my opinion. That and the guitar, or whatever it is, throughout the main verse. And it's easily the best song off the album, for me. No question about it. You already know, it's an S tier, baby. There's a good reason these tables are numbered, honey. You just haven't thought of it yet. This is another consistently good song. I think this and London, whatever, I can't bother to say the full name. Oh, and that other one. But I never think of it as great. I never think of it as a great song. But I always do tap my toes and bang my head and other sayings and such and things and such. But yeah, it's very enjoyable. It's a good time all throughout, honestly. The piano's fun, the cymbals are nice. I think the end is probably the best part, which mixes the trumpets with the greatness of the rest of the song. And it's really just a fun time. That's the best way I can describe it. Yeah, I gotta give it an A, honestly. Build God, then we'll talk. This is the final song in the album. They went by fast. It's not the best, in my opinion, but the middle is great and the start is also really good. The ending just spoils it for me, though. It's just never been enjoyable. I mean, most of the time it's like, oh, I like this part of a song, and then I listen to it over and over again and I can't stand it anymore. Or at least I just don't like it as much. But the least favorite things part are just, ugh, it's just not good. It practically ruins the song because that's all you get at the end of it. You barely get a moment of relief throughout it all. It just drags it down for me because it drags the entire album down a little for me. I mean, that's harsh, and I'm definitely being hyperbolic with that, but I just always I'm gonna know, oh, this ends on a very meh note. It's just not that great. And I mean, I'm sorry to end the ratings on a sour mood, but I will have you know that I'm listening to an S tier song from a different album that will be reviewed one day, assuming I do more of these while I'm writing the script. That was true, by the way. This is not on the script. Final song, B. So there's your rating list. These two songs suck, and it's really sad that they're right next to each other. These two songs aren't really songs. These three are good. These four are great, and these two are perfection. I hope you agree, and if you don't, I don't care. To be blunt, I want you to give me an essay as to why I'm wrong, and then I'll consider your point. It has to have double spacing, and email it to me in Word. I'll put my email in the description. So, there you go. Pretty crazy album. I think the original goal was accomplished with it being different. It was definitely different, and it was creative. And it wasn't just your cliche, I'm different because I'm emo and stuff. But it sounded different from, like, the big hits of the early 2000s, which I wasn't really there for, but I still know what it was like because I watch YouTube. But generally a good album. There was a few stinkers in there, in my opinion. But, you know, I that's all I can really say. It's a good song. But, I mean, hey, I sure hope nothing happens to the band or anything in between these albums, this and Vices and Virtues. Sure hope nothing happens there, I mean, it's not like I've been reading all these vague, sad comments saying that something happened, but I actually don't know what happened, so I'm prepared for anyone to die. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye if you actually watched the entire thing. This feels like a shorter video than I expected it to be.